Hello, creatives. Welcome to Artist Star. My name is Beth, and I'm here at the gallery to do a tarot reading for Cancer season and the 3 Decans. I'll also offer a bit of astrology guidance as to how we might all navigate what we receive from Source and how to use any messages for your card placement. If you haven't gotten your own personal Cards of Truth birth chart yet, I've put a link below in the description box where you can create a free one at Ernest Wellham's website. So let's get started with a quick review about the sign of Cancer, ruling the 4th house of home and family. While this does mean your actual physical home when you were born, its circumstance and environment you were born into, it also means the structure of your home within self, your DNA, your ancestry. So to that home and family, the Vedic astrology adds the land, your mother, vehicles, art, as in what things of value you have earned and what is hidden, and your happiness. All of these things are related to each other under that happiness umbrella, meaning hopefully your mother was happy and healthy enough to give you what you needed when you were in the womb and a baby, your own happiness, and therefore you have a happy enough disposition to get yourself nice things to make you happy and find value in. Interestingly, on the shadow side of things, what type of addictions you might link your happiness to is included here. So personally, I find the what is hidden fascinating to think about. I like to consider it as buried, high and low vibrational karmic treasure. Our deep tendencies within our relationships to people, places, things, and of course, self. So the moon is the ruling planet, which brings feminine vibrational waves of intuiting emotional mood changes that are susceptible to the lunar cycles. So just for the fun of it, during this time of being under the spell of Cancerians' heightened intuition, try keeping a journal of what you manifest during the summer solstice this week with a new moon and how it plays out as the moon becomes full. Play with that manifesting and the lunar cycles to find the best phase of your moon placement. What phase was the moon on your birthday? Mine was full. If you don't know, just Google moon phase and the day of your birth and it pops right up. So water is the element for Cancer. I think of it as where there's a will, there's a way. It's that fluid, vibrational waves of consciousness that ebb and flow, feeling a way through life's stormy and calm tides and undertows. Being a cardinal sign gives Cancer the forethought of seeing the bigger picture. The moon brings the solitude and vibrational intuitive clarity. The water brings Cancerian depth of character and the evolutionary significance of the hard-shelled crab brings the survivalist armor, all in degrees and in accordance to how well you handle the bumps and curves of life in the driver's seat of the chariot. That's the Tarot's Major Arcana card for Cancer. So, since astrology is ultimately about self, now we can see how the sign of Cancer with a natural affinity to mood swings and represented with the symbol of a hard-shelled crab is symbolic of our home within, that DNA, that ancestry, with all of its personal interior rooms of self, how we try to protect our inner home self of who we are as a spirit deep within our heart, how we present our mind's eye in life and all the entanglements that creates with the ego and soul, how you feather your nest and who you allow to get close to you, how your faithfulness and loyalties work. In the Cards of Truth chart, we look at what card is in the second placement of the moon and also what placement your birth moon is in. So check your chart to see what cards you have there. Being the second placement makes the twos important in your chart as well. The Cards of Truth adds the Emperor for the black suit twos and the Empress for the red twos from the major arcana, both representing fertility, abundance, nobility, knowledge of self, and your spiritual connection and relationship to source. The day of the week is Monday, Moon Day, and the best day for introspection, rest, and rejuvenation. So the shadow attributes for Cancer brings all of these natural intuitive tendencies to a lower vibe, always in degrees, given your internal makeup and what we are here to transform. We acknowledge how we are self-serving, self-centered, impatient, impulsive, covert, and vindictive, aggressive, how we're aggressive. Are you passive aggressive or otherwise? How we emotionally express our frustrations and discomfort in the way of difficulties getting our desires met. Cancer's catch-22 is learning how to live gracefully with one foot grounded on land and showing up in the real world with clarity and balance. And the other foot is washed in intuitive emotional waves as the sand is pulled out from under your feet. Okay, so this should be a very interesting few weeks for us all. So to begin, I'm going to encourage you all to check your astrology chart for what house the sign of Cancer is in and any planets that you have there, and see if you can spot your catch-22. Then look at your Cards of Truth chart for Cancer's ruling planet, the moon, in the second position, and see what card you have there. Then you can add that card's meaning, light and shadow attributes to your consideration of the messages from the reading. For example, personally, my sun is in Cancer. It sits in the first decan in the seventh house of relationships. Relationships to everything, people, places, things, myself. My Cards of Truth card in the moon placement is the Queen of Spades, and I can attest to the lifelong struggle of balancing how I take care of myself, taking care of relations with everything else, getting caught up in that relational depths of everything, the seventh house influences, while I stretch to embrace the Queen of Spades and rely more on a gut feeling, sorting through the challenge of keeping grounded while in sensory overload. My catch-22. So thank goodness my moon is anchored in earthy Capricorn in the first house. I'm kind of on the solstice, so right in between signs. So I have my rising sign Sagittarius in the first house, but the first house is split, and I've got Capricorn there as well with the moon in it. So it's pretty strong, I'm happy to say. All right, so I'm going to get started with a tarot reading for Cancer season and the 3 decans. First, I'll ask, during this time of Cancer season and the 3 decans, what needs to be brought to attention and clarified at this time? I'm going to use the archetype cards for that. They're going to invite us to take a deeper inner look. Then I'm going to use the Cards of Truth, Spirit and Nature deck for direction to go deeper by pulling the thread. So check your chart to see if you've got the card there or if that can clarify any more for you. Then we're going to follow up with the helpful clarification with the Lenormand cards. Lastly, we will have a finish with a loving starseed card message of encouragement, hopefully from Spirit. Don't expect this to be too rough. It's an emotional journey this month. So, as I said, it's probably going to be pretty darn interesting no matter what we get here. So, all right, let's turn over the first card in the first row and have a look at this first decan of Cancer. This one runs that first 10 degrees of Cancer. So it goes from June 21st to July 1st. And as I said, this one's also ruled by the moon. So here we've got that roller coaster, emotional ups and downs and turning on a dime. It really is lunar led. And I think, when you're out there in the world, and if you're not a Cancerian and you're hearing all about the zodiac sign, this is the one that you hear about. The other two decans lend a whole different quality to the sign. But for now, for this first 10, which I'm included, it is there with that moody, receptive, sensitive nature that is definitely moon-led. So my dreams are very vivid, and I'm sure if you're born in this decan with me, you understand that as well. So, mostly it's just seeking that harmony and stability. You're all warm and fuzzy. So that's the way you come across, all, smoldering with warmth and compassion. But ultimately, you're looking for, how you're going to feather your nest, all of that, where you want to put your loyalties, your faithfulness, all of that, and including, with source and self. I think that's the biggest one with this decan. So, it's that roller coaster, trying to figure it out, being heart-led, until it isn't. So, okay, let's ask, during this first decan of Cancer and being doubled down by the moon, what needs to be brought to our attention and given clarity at this time? All right, let's turn over the first card for the first decan. Don Juan. Well, this is certainly right in there with that smoldering underflow of that emotional intuitiveness that, they just, in this decan, just naturally have that aura about them, that there's something deeper below the surface. And it's all how you present yourself to the world, but it's also that what the world sees about you, those that are looking, those that are attracted to that. It says so much about who you are at your core, how strong you are in it, or how susceptible you are to other influences to bring that stability. You definitely need to find that within yourself. I looked for many years outside myself for that verification of who I was. And, it isn't until you stop doing that you end up finding it for yourself. It's so easy for some people, and for some people it's incredibly difficult to do. So anyways, so the Don Juan thing, do you use your sexuality for getting what you want? Because ultimately astrology is about the self and how you go about getting your desires, your needs met, right? So, and also what your impulses are. how you're led. If you remember, it's like that DNA quality as well. It has everything to do with your position in this world. So if you are using that allure, that attraction, that feeling depth that you have, I always like to say, I don't like to dwell on the surface of things. There's always something deeper there to tap into that is so juicy and delicious, especially if you are going for the creative, artistic bent. You got to go down and down and down. And that is perfect for the Don Juan if you're using it in the right way. So, in the best light attributes, this spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. As you can see, it says it right there. And that's all how, that you're romancing, right? You're romancing the world. You're coming across as this beautiful, loving, beautiful warmth that is so attractive, and anyone that is looking for that is definitely going to be attracted to you. The shadow attributes, of course, is just using it for your own private agendas. And where that can be okay, you just need to understand that to get where you really, really want to go, you have to not use it for ulterior motives. It has to be used in the bright light of day and totally aware of it. I mean, if you're going to flaunt it, then own it and flaunt it. There's nothing wrong with flaunting your attributes. Just be real about it, and that's okay. All right, we're going to move on to the second card. We've got the Jack of Hearts. I just love this. So the Jack of Hearts, right? I mean, beautiful card to get here. And you'll find that these are all in the upright position because we're going to talk about the light attributes and the shadow attributes of all the cards. And the Jack of Hearts is pretty much the Don Juan. It's pretty interesting that we get this one here because if you've got the Jack of Hearts in your chart, then you're going to know by now probably, or if not, that it is all about how you move through those first phases of getting your desires, your wants, your needs met. It's all about aces, twos, and threes. You've got this really fast-paced creative energy. It's Uranus-led, and it's just got this lightheartedness about it. It is about you understanding your truth, that ace of hearts, having that vision to be able to spot the thing that you want and that makes sense to you emotionally. Beautiful card for this first decan. Then you've got the two. That's the moon energy, that moon placement. So do look at your ace position, your sun position, your moon position, and your Mars position, because the twos are moon led. If you remember, that is Emperor and Empress. This is red suit, so it's the Empress. It's that fertility, that really having everything you need at your fingertips to see something through. It's an opportunity. It's not a given. It will present itself, but you still have to do the work to get it done, to make it work. And the three, that is seeing it to fruition, whether that is getting the ball rolling, the beginnings of the beginnings, or seeing it through, depending on what it is and you. So that is a lovely card to get here. The shadow attributes, again, is exactly like the Don Juan. Really, it is using that creative energy, that aura of sensuality and romance and all of the bits and pieces that would attract the wrong kind of energy for you, a darker energy. It would be an energy that would want to ultimately be, pops into my head now is like the emotional vampire that just can't get enough. You know, when I see this card at its worst, it is that narcissist and the sensitive empath relationship, you know, whether which one you are, right? You could be either. And in this relationship, for all the wrong reasons, trying to validate who you are by manipulating someone else. So, best case scenario, you've got your feet on the ground, you know who you are. You're looking to put this energy, this beautiful romance, this lovely, just bright, shiny, warm aura about you that people are attracted to. And you are as secure as you could possibly be in who you are and your creativity. You know what you need to make you tick in the best way possible. What fills you. You're getting as much as you're giving. It's a beautiful thing when you see it happen. You know, I've witnessed this many times and have felt it myself in certain situations. And I felt the shadow side of this too. I've run into many narcissists. I'm the empath, but in many ways, I can be that narcissist too. You know, it's that roller coaster ride of who you are on any given day at any given moment that you really have to, at the end of the day, when you're replaying things, be truthful and honest with yourself. Now, you know, why did I feel like I needed to get that attention from someone that I honestly don't even care what their opinion is, yet for some reason I needed it? What was going on with me that I needed to extract that from someone? And I had to use my sexual prowess to do it. Ugh, you know? No, just you can be all sexy and fun and flirty and all the good stuff and contain it. Just be it. You know, just shine that light if you need to and want to. There's plenty of opportunity out there to come across as a truly stable and mature and grounded sensuality. Oh, there's nothing more beautiful than that kind of confidence of who you are in all of it, right? All the bits. Beautiful. Okay, so let's look at the Lenormand card. Well, here we are with that dreamy, moody moon again. Here it is in the fullness of it. So we're starting this reading with the new moon. We're starting it with the solstice, the summer solstice, a new moon summer solstice week, kind of right in the middle of it. So I think that new moon is coming out right around the 18th, I believe. So here we are in that building to that full moon, so luscious and ripe for the picking. And what do we have here that we are delving deep into? Oh, you know, it just makes me want to go put on my favorite music, seductive music, get dressed up, get beautiful, feel beautiful, do what I need to make myself feel, or invite myself is a better way to put it, to just settle into that stable warmth and to do it with self first. Got to be self-led. You know, I think that that is the answer to most everything. I'm being asked to really make sure that it's understood about that stability, and letting you know that get your uh, ducks in order. It is like, make sure that you are grounded in your your home life. It's coming through your home life, and your clarity around making sure that you don't need anything to survive, really, physically and mentally. Your home, your work, your creativity, your friends, your spirituality, those things need to really be in place for you to dive into anything that you need to dive into. The second that you need something, that you think you can't live without, you give your power away. So find a way to do you, right? And let that be who what your persona is. You can be all of the above. Just be very clear about what you want and how you're going about getting it. Do the work. If this Jack of Hearts says anything in its best and lightest attributes, this card gets it done with a lightness of being, of just this childlike curiosity, and could be super okay and just be comfortable anywhere, any place, anything. So follow that kind of string for yourself and see what you can do to build that kind of world life for you. And then you can invite, if you're looking for a partner, you can invite that in to share with you. You'll be in the spot where your light will match someone else's. It is having that aura of confidence and stability and just self deprecation, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, being totally okay with that and going with the flow, catching yourself, and acknowledging it, figuring it out, pulling the thread on what that trigger was for you, what you needed out of it, and how you can now go about asking your guides to help you by co creating and getting it for yourself. Nothing more beautiful than that. So I think it's time for the Starseed card. Let's see what we have as a loving note from Source through our spirit guides and Decan. Daimon, Decan Daimon. Gaia. Connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Oh, that is so beautiful. Yes, Mother Earth. Talk about perfect grounding. Being the crab, right? Go to the beach if you can, right? Just put your toes in that sand and feel the tide just pull that out from under you. It's all good. That is change. The one thing you can count on is change, right? From moment to moment, it changes. So beautiful. So let's now look at that second decan. This one runs from July 2nd through the 12th. It is that second flow of 10-day period. So here you're looking at Pluto. Pluto is the sub-ruler of the second decan. So Pluto adds more of an aggressive, take charge aura about you. It's interesting that, it's so different from that moonlit solid first decan, that the second decan still has that mystique, that allure of that subversive, moody moonness, but it's also got that Pluto bit about it, which just likes to blow things up. You know, it just takes something and makes it even bigger. So here you've got that more of an aura of aggressive take chargeness, that like you don't wear your heart on the sleeve. Instead, how you get your needs met is by holding that your emotional well-being cards close, which gives you that air of confidence, yes, but there's also a different kind of mystique about you. So yeah, very interesting to be around, high energy, productive energy. You know, I always see this one as being that cardinal element more than anything, because it is about that take charge. This decan is the one that really confuses people who think they know what a Cancerian is. You know, these people in this decan are not fully led by the moon, right? It has that moony quality of a mystique, a depth about them, but it also has that take charge energy where people confuse it with a different sign. So I love that about this second decan. And it is, you know, how you obviously go about getting what you need. So let's ask here during this time what needs to be brought to the second decan's attention and clarified at this time with that Pluto energy. We're going to look at this archetype card and see where you are being invited to look. Hermit, that's interesting. Okay, so the Hermit attributes for the light attributes: seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. The shadow attributes: withdrawn from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. So this is an interesting card for the second decan to get. Here you are, you know, usually if you're going to just kind of roll that all into a ball of moody, aggressive cardinal behavior, keeping your emotions to yourself and really kind of going about things in a stronger, more forthright and upfront kind of way. You do feel your way into things, but you're much more quick to understand what needs to happen and get about doing it. I know several Cancerians in the second decan, and their light attributes and their shadow attributes are just such juicy fodder to look through. For instance, you definitely would be a deep thinker, really seeing how you could begin something and knowing all the right people, being able to put things together in a way that you get something started and see it into this fruition. You know, I've seen the second decan Cancerians start magazines and have it be incredibly successful. I've seen them start charities, incredibly successful. And just being able to be that CEO of just about anything they want to be, whether that's home and family, running the children, running the husband, running the household, putting everything where it needs to be and making sure that all the gears are greased. That is that second decan Cancer. So here, if you're born in this time period, in this reading, you are being asked by your guides to seek solitude for the focus on your inner life. What serves you creatively, personally serves you creatively, without needing to take that and worry about what other people are thinking. Because isn't that the other flip side of the coin? You've got this fantastic idea. You're going to start a charity. You're going to start a magazine. You're going to open a gallery. You're going to, do whatever it is that you need to do. Write the perfect book. You know who you're going to have for characters, but then you start to second guess yourself. So what happens during that second guessing of you wanting to see that bigger picture? You're all full of it, and then some notion, some inner voice, some piece of you, some part of you has something else to say. No, be careful. You're good in their eyes right now, but you might not be if you present this thing to them. It could go sideways. It could sour so much more than what you want to show. You want to keep them in this box of being able to get you what you want if you can handle it, right? No. That's the voice that is going to keep you exactly where you are, fearful, right? Fearful, fearing the negativity, the judgment of others. So this is where you seek that solitude, withdraw from society, from getting anything done, from following your heart's desire, because you are basically letting yourself be at the mercy of other people. Horrible place to be. This is where you definitely are being asked to take that time out, right? Find your solitude, but it's to focus on what makes you you, so that you can get stronger and be more grounded and more in self, connecting those pieces. I have a friend, a very good friend, who is an art therapist, and she's always talking about the benefits of the IFS training, that inner family systems. And basically all it is you recognizing a part that is of old or new. I mean, you're making parts all the time when you run up against some difficulty and something is drawn out of you to protect you. So you've got protectors, you've got defenders, right? And you've got perpetrators, where you're aggressive and you bark at somebody, firefighters, and you've got this where you want to be that watcher, because you don't want to be the victim, you don't want to be the perpetrator, and you don't want to be the defender. Right? Once you step into that role of whatever situation is in front of you, you create something that is now needing to be broken down and looked deeper into. It can tell you an incredible amount about yourself if you're willing to look. It's a beautiful place to see what makes you you. Incorporate that into your family of self. I have this vision of a round table, and you as spirit is sitting up at the top, and you've got this family of all your ego parts wanting to have a voice. They're all standing and hollering, or one is, or asking to do something and jumping in and, putting out the fire or running to the corner to cry or, it's like, or, just being a firefighter or, one of those. And when spirit needs to stand up and say, I hear you, I'm going to give that my full attention. I'm going to really look at it. I'm going to understand exactly where that needs to get met with clarity and balance. And when I figure out what triggers me, then I'm going to be able to ask Source to help me balance that, clarify it, balance it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do it with the best of intention, and I'm going to be able to do it because we're going to co-create. So much gratitude for that open channel, perfect for this moon-led part of this decan, to settle into that solitude, to delve a little bit deeper. So good for what you need, that fodder to accept that vulnerability about yourself and be able to make it something that adds, not takes away. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's look at the spirit and nature. Ooh, we've got the 6 of Hearts. This is so beautiful. So this is you being at your creative best. The most interesting thing for me about the 6s are that it is that conversation between spirit and ego. Ego is such a rage. It is always running out of time. It is always pushing. It's always that chatter in your head telling you this, telling you that, saying, oh, exactly. You want everybody to like you. You want to be able to tell everybody what to do, and they go and do it, and it all works out perfectly. And sometimes it does, right? And that just builds on that unstable ground that you are putting all your eggs in that tippy basket and expecting more of that. That kind of supporting that kind of belief and behavior. As my father used to tell me, it's like you can fool all of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but not all of the people all the time. There's always, always, always somebody that sees, and that somebody should be you. So here you are with this opportunity so far to take that time out to listen to your latest success, because that's what the 6s are all about. This is having that validation from an outside source saying, oh, you are the best at this. I so look up to you. I so want to be you. I so want to be able to do what you're doing. You are the best. And it feels so good, like it just bolster your emotional loveliness. You just feel so full and justified. But then it comes to the point where the 6, I love this about the 6, your ego is all up in it. And your soul is like, okay, can we be done now? Enough already. Oh my God. Look, what we really, 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 really need is something that takes us deeper. It's like surface dwelling with all of this accolades for your your well-earned, I'm going to say, well-earned efforts. You put the work in for it. You created the charity. You created the best magazine ever. You did it. Absolutely enjoy every minute of that and just receive your rewards for your efforts, because this is living your best life. Just don't forget about feeding the soul as well. Take that time out. Do your due diligence of putting your feet back on the ground. You can see how her back is turned to all of these awards, all of this. You're the best. You've won it. You know what you're doing. You're everything. And she's getting down to looking and doing something again to feed the soul. That balance, that earthly beautifulness that we are all a part of. So it's all well and good. Just don't forget to find that balance. And when you figure it out, any of your little bits and pieces that are looking to get that validation, right? That's the ego, where you're in this and you're producing something for the accolades of someone else. No, that's where you want to pull the thread and find out why. Why do you need that attention from someone else? What do you feel is lacking within you that you can't fulfill yourself? Beautiful. All right, let's look at the Lenormand cards. Well, this is interesting. The cross is about having a cross to bear. This is about this is about dipping deep into the shadow work of this Hermit card, the shadow work of the Six of Hearts. This is asking you to take a good, hard look at whatever is underlying that is broken more than anything. This is your burdens, okay? This is your burdens that you persevere through. Because what does that do? It's just so delicious. It becomes who you are, you being more beautiful, stronger, centered, clear about who you are, bringing all of that into you and your warmth, your self-security, and being able to stand a little bit taller, be a little bit more noble, mature, right? In your emotional beautifulness, and take that charge of who you are even that much deeper. Oh, I'm loving this reading. All right. So there you have it, right? Just remember to understand that anything in this reading is being brought in a timely way. Nothing is brought that you can't handle in some little bit or big lot. You're ready for it, or you wouldn't be hearing it. So, yes, take it to heart that you are here to do a little bit more deeper look into probably the way I'm seeing it as that Pluto ego-driven aggressiveness that is all well and good as long as you are taking care of the soul and its needs as well. You don't want to have that unbalanced, because then you're looking for that validation from an outside source. And that is the part of the Six of Hearts. So this is definitely the message for you. All right, let's see what the Starseeds card has to say about this. You've got this little star planet down here in the bottom, big, beautiful night sky. Inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. Oh my goodness. Yeah, right? Oh, wow. All right. So that is like the perfect card for you, second decan, with this message. Take that time, reach in there, find the alchemy of you, what you need to be grounded, noble you. Wow. All right. Let's move on to the third decan. The third decan runs from July 13th to the 22nd and is subruled by Neptune. So here we're going to look at more of a romantic at heart. You have more of a tendency for a strong, creative, and imaginative inner world to draw from, right? You are likely to often change up how you show up in the world. You're the ultimate giver of random acts of kindness. How sweet is that? So with this one, we got the Lover, and we are talking about that last 10 degrees of Cancer. So if you were born during that time period, or if you have that significance in your chart, say your moon is there, or your Venus, or any planet really, you're going to be able to look closer at that and feel this in whatever house it might relate to, and how else it is either supported or undermined in your chart. Beautiful. Love astrology. Okay, so the Lover for the romantic. So, Neptune, right? It's that elusive, watery planet that also gives you the ability to double down on any creativity that comes from within. It gives you a interesting, visionary, even more so with this cardinal Cancer energy. It's a visionary that just is so deep, it just goes right to the toes. That's where you draw all that energy from. It is so heart-led for this. All of the attributes around how that comes about for this Cancer, with the Neptune energy relating to the Queen energy in the cards of truth. So Queen energy encompasses the fours, fives, and sixes. So in your cards of truth, you want to look for those. You want to look for any queens first. You want to look to see what you have in that Neptune for a card in your Neptune position, that bottom middle position of the Neptune, and see what you can get from there. Like, it is that you can relate back to whatever. If it say it, I didn't mention this for the 6, but say it's a 6 that you have in the Neptune, then you're going to know that you need to pull that string a little further and go to the Venus and see what you have in the Venus position, how Venus relates to the chart. And also the red 6s are the Lover's card. So you're going to want to go and take a look and see what the Lovers have to do with anything. And, right? Okay, so pull that thread. That's the second card, business. So this first card, business, the Lovers. So, this is where you are being asked to take that deeper inner look. So, the light attributes here is having great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation for someone or something. I would take that a little further and go people, places, things, and self. The shadow attributes are obsessive passion that harms others, self destructive devotion, which, when you think about that, what does that mean? It's like hanging on to something that has served its purpose. It is no longer serving you. It's hanging on so tight that it's like cutting off your life force, and not understanding that to keep feeding it just gives you less, right? It's like you're giving and giving and giving. You can't keep yourself from holding back. You know, if it's not yours, drop it. It's the best advice for this card. And it's coming through as, say something goes wrong during the day or the night, or something goes wrong. Something goes wrong and you're feeling bad about it. You're feeling like you need to fix it. You're feeling like you need to get in there and make it better. You're sorry. You've been misunderstood. The wrong thing was thought about you, and you need to make it, you need to correct it. Yet the person that you are trying to correct this thing with is not having anything of it. What is that? They've got their own agenda. They've got their own shit that they're working with. They've got their own set of circumstances that needs to be brought to their attention. So for you to send email after email, trying to explain, trying to say, no, you got it all wrong. This is the way it really, really is. It's coming from my heart and I meant the best by it. And they're like, oh, no, that's not the way it is at all, because, it really hurt my feelings and blah, blah, blah. And you just make it worse. You just make it worse. Whereas if you were to recognize that to begin with and say to yourself, okay, they've misunderstood me. I'm going to say that. I'm going to think really long and hard. I'm going to put together a complete sentence of what, who, when, where, how. You go back to those 5 things that you need to really address in a paragraph or for a news story. This is how you write. These are the things that you need, and how it makes you feel, okay? Without blame or pointing the finger or asking for some emotional support. You keep it dry and to the point. That is your full sentence. That is something that they cannot take offense at, because you've crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's in it once. You send it once, and it is either it works or even if it doesn't. Say to yourself, if you get backlash, just go, all right, that's all I can do. The best thing for me to do right now is to drop it, walk away, because the second that you don't give it any more attention is the second that they are raging against hollowness. You're not there. You're not feeding that energy. You've said everything that you need to say, and now you can walk away. Leave it. It's the best advice. coming straight from source. So listen to it. It's so true. I've had this happen and I've fed the beast and it comes to no good fruition. I have heard many, many stories of the same. So a lot of people out there are committed to holding on to their grief and their hurt for whatever reason, right? Whatever reason. That is not yours, okay? Yours is you doing you, doing what you can, and then walking away. Let them come into it on their own. It's the best thing you can do. All right. Let's look at the cards of truth. Spirit and nature. Jack of clubs. Wow. All right. We've got some Jack energy this month. So the Jack of clubs is all about intellectual pursuit. This is how you go about recognizing knowledge and information that is going to really give you something to grow on. And by growing, we are talking your intelligence, your depth, your how you go about getting what you need to feed that intelligence, how you grow in nobility and forthrightness with this club suit, how you share that with the outside world and how you prosper from it, being happy in the sharing. So again, you've got this aces, twos, and threes. So go and look at your sun, moon, and Mars position in your cards of truth or in any chart. See where your sun is, your moon, and your Mars, and see if you can't bring that to the reading here. So whatever you have in that sun position, that's you, another part of you at your most core. So how could you apply the Ace of Clubs to that? That is those original ideas. That is being open to that bright, shiny spot that you spot on the page or in an email, out of a book, out of a movie, any kind of energy that comes through as learning something. How do you spot it? That's you. And then how do you make that connection? You go, I see it. Now I know how I'm going to be able to take advantage of it. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to take this opportunity and see where I can make it go. That's the Mars energy. You're going to bring it around, going to plant that seed. You've got the seed, the ace. You're planting the seed, the two. It sprouts and it starts to grow. Oops, sorry. Shaking the camera. Starts to grow. So there you have your inkling, your idea, your sprouted energy that is now in the process of getting the sunlight, getting the water, hoping it's not going to get trampled on and taken to something that is going to serve you and your intellectual abilities. So beautiful. Okay. So yeah, it's hardworking. It's hardworking. It's creative. It is you figuring out exactly where you need to go and what you need to do in that way that you go about gathering all of that and putting it to good use. So far we've got how you show up for your passion and devotion, how you appreciate everything that there is at your fingertips to really connect deeply on this emotional connection. And the shadow attributes being overly passionate, obsessing over it, and to the point where you're strangling the connection that you have. So lighten it up, get to work on what's working, recognizing the seed, and knowing what to plant and how to nurture it. The Lenormand card. So you've got the letter. So again, this is about having some intuition, some thought, some message come through for you. It says here, this surprise letter from a place remote brings good news from a friend who wrote. If the words pretend a stormy sky, sadness will soon much intensify. So it could actually be the opposite as well. It is good news or it's bad news. You don't know. So you're going to get some piece of your puzzle, some light attribute or some shadow attribute. But you are to dive in, take a closer Neptunian look, feel it right down to your toes, and bring that energy to whatever it is that you're going to sprout and help grow, because that is also about the jacks. You know, you only take it so far. It is this fast-paced energy. You get a lot of balls rolling and you're not always having just one thing to worry about or dive into creatively or otherwise. You've got, you're juggling all of it. So many balls. You've got creativity, you've got home and family, you've got relationships, you've got work, you've got, you know, how you're getting on in this world and yourself, right? So here, you in this third decan you are being asked to take that passion and that devotion to self and to see whatever this information that's going to be coming through for you, where you can take it to improve upon you. Talk about pulling a thread. This is you just stepping into that nobility. The thing about the jacks, again, is that they have their eye on becoming the queen or the king. The jacks are, they have that persona of understanding that they are being groomed for larger things. They've got so much to do. They've got all of this to learn and to step into, take to heart, to really have it become a part of who they are. That nobleness is very strong with the jacks. And here, clearly, there is something, some message coming through for you in some way. Of course, when these cards were made, all there was lettering, right? You could send a letter, a note, or something. They didn't have texts and TV and telephones and email and all the other good stuff that's out there today. So it's going to possibly be a little bit harder for you to sort through all that comes through for you, but something will light that spark that you will know, you will see that it's going to be some original idea that is going to spark this passion and devotion, right? This appreciation for whatever that spark, that ace, that sun is going to be for you. And we are talking about the Ace of Clubs, which is the original idea. It's going to be fun, though. I mean, this is really this fast-paced Brahman energy. The downside of any Jack of Clubs is to just be feeling lazy or not up to it, sort of succumbing to the overload and not taking care of yourself. So definitely get your sleep. You've got a lot of work ahead of you. You've got some really bright, beautiful ideas coming your way, and it's going to have something to do about how you apply yourself to fixing, doing, embellishing, making something bigger and brighter and more original with you and whatever it is you're doing creatively. Could be anything. Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, let's see what the starseed note that you have from Source. Earth Guide. Your sacred calling upon this earth or upon this planet is to simply love and be loved. Wow, what a nice message. You be you. You're beautiful.